Hello everyone, my name is Saira Shah Halim and welcome to the episode of Azaad Labz. So we are actually witnessing what is happening around the country, and I think everyone must be quite perturbed that what is happening amidst rising inflation, unemployment, joblessness and an impending war in the Western world. Here we are again back to the absolute abysmal politics of Mandir Masjid. So let's begin with why the government of India is doing that. Firstly, I think there is no shadow of doubt that the Bharatiya Janata Party is trying to deflect the attention of the public by engaging in frivolity. Yes, let's call out, it's time to call out this government, because here the Honorable Supreme Court of India probably is the only court that is deciding whether a particular site happens to be a well, or it might be an artifact, or it could be something else. And in 21st century India, we are actually talking about all this. We're talking about Mandir Masjid. So the 𝒃𝒊𝒈𝒂𝒏𝒕 mosque has become the new Babri Masjid. So let's discuss why the government is hell-bent on making these religious sites another Babri Masjid. One of the major factors contributing to high inflation seems to have been India's incredibly harsh COVID-19 lockdown in the year 2020. Also playing a pivotal part were very high fuel taxes, as everyone knows, levied by the cash-strapped union government. Now, since fuel is an input for transportation, it is obvious that it affects a huge and a wide range of industries that play a major role in driving inflation. So, as this was unspooling rather, along came Russia's Putin with his invasion of Ukraine. And now, given the large agricultural footprint of Russia and Ukraine on the other hand, what this resulted in was a spike of the prices of commodities such as wheat and edible oil. So what is happening is a wholesale price-based inflation that spiked to a record 17-year high of 15.8% in April on rising prices across different segments from food to commodities, remaining in double digits for the 13th month in a row. And there's not been such a sharp rise in prices since 1991, mind you. The record fall in Indian rupees has been dismal. And people are feeling the heat, feeling the fire of price in the market every day. Modi government has also tried to claim that this is solely the result of the Russia-Ukraine war. Isn't it ironical? Because India's current spell of rising inflation precedes that by quite a bit. The country has in fact been seeing high levels of inflation for more than 2 years now. So where has the Ukraine and the Russia war come in to the picture? So even more disastrous was the fact that oil prices shot up, since Russia is a major oil and gas producer. So naturally, everything will get affected because of that. And for reasons that are not known entirely and that are not entirely clear, the Reserve Bank of India fell asleep at the wheel. There are serious doubts about the RBI's ability to reduce the current spate of inflation. So let's talk about Mr. Modi's wonderful economic performance. We know that his economic performance has still now been completely lackluster. Economic growth has been lower than under Manmohan Singh, and unemployment has been alarming. In order to get past this, the Modi government has employed two strategic thrusts: a large number of welfare populism as well as increasingly militant Hindu nationalism. So India's poor fiscal health means that there is little room to institute additional welfare measures. In fact, just keeping it at the same level with the centre's massive free food grain scheme would be an achievement. As a result, the only room left to grow could be in the emotive but volatile space of militant Hindutva. So we know why this mandir masjid has sprung from is because of this reason. So with a large army of these jobless, unemployed people, the vigilant groups have become active in India and they face no manpower shortage. They could also become more and more ideologically acceptable in greater numbers and to greater numbers of Hindus, with economic distress historically being correlated with extremist ideologies. So this wave of communal violence follows a distinct pattern. Aggressive processions, often armed, enter largely Muslim neighborhoods and demonstrate in front of mosques. They chant talk of religious humiliation or in some cases even outright violence against India's Muslims. Inevitably, this escalates into a religious riot. After failing to control this violent mob, the police often target the victims, arresting Muslims and arbitrarily razing their property. So this is now being augmented by a spate of conflicts around serving mosques with the ostensible aim of finding out if they were really built on the sites of temples or not. This is in spite of the fact that the Places of Worship Act forbids the change of the religious character of a place from what existed at the moment of transfer of power that happened in 1947. So now people must be thinking, what is this Places of Worship Act and what are its provisions? So let's talk about that. So well, the long title to this act describes it as an act to prohibit conversion of any place of worship and to provide for the maintenance of the religious character of any place of worship as it existed on the 15th day of August 1947, and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. So, what is particularly worrying in India's case is that the economic inequality is being added to a society that is already fractured along the fault lines of caste, religion, region and gender. So this unabated galloping price rise is imposing unprecedented burdens on the people. Crores of people are suffering and they're being pushed into poverty with growing hunger pangs. Coming on top of unprecedented levels of unemployment, this is compounding people's miseries. Okay. So people must be intrigued to find out what the left parties are doing, what are they demanding. Let's talk about that. So the left parties are demanding a complete rollback on surcharges, cess on petroleum products. They're also asking for restoring wheat supplies through the public distribution system, that is PDS. They have also asked to strengthen the PDS by distributing all essential commodities, particularly pulses and edible oil. Increase the direct cash transfer to rupees 7,500 per month to all non-income tax-paying families is also part of this. They've also asked for an increase in MGNREGS allocation, legislate central scheme for unemployment allowance, and legislate an employment guarantee scheme for the urban areas. So this is what the left parties are demanding as of now, and they're also asking to fill up all the vacant posts that haven't been filled all these years. The left parties have directed all the units across the country to coordinate this united and concerted nationwide struggle against the price rise and unemployment between the 21st and the 31st of May. So the CPIM is looking forward to engage you all in wide discussions on inflation, price rise and other national pertinent issues. So thank you so much for watching Azaad Labz, and we will come back again with a very pertinent issue in another 2 weeks. So keep watching the CPIM official handle on YouTube. Thank you so much, and thank you for viewing this episode.